You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 123. Well, it is the start to a new month. I hope that this is a month that you start to really settle in and decide what it is that you're wanting to achieve with this story of yours, with this journey that you have been on, and know that there are no guardrails for how far you can go or how grand your life can become, even though your dream of motherhood did not happen. Before we get into the excitement of this week's episode, I want to remind you that tickets to the Others Day Brunch are selling quickly. I'm so excited. So many of you who I've met just through Instagram and listening to the podcast have purchased tickets. And those of you that are coming from out of town, remember that I will help you, figure out where you want to stay, all the good stuff. So just reach out. But it means so much to me that you are choosing to spend the day before Mother's Day with me and with the amazing women that are going to be at the Others Day Brunch. Because now that Easter is behind us, I feel like everywhere is now transitioning to Mother's Day, and banners in the stores and emails about what's going on for Mother's Day, gifts for Mother's Day, all that good stuff. And it's not that I hate Mother's Day. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I have a mother who is still alive, who I love to celebrate on Mother's Day. But when it comes to thinking about myself and the disconnection that I felt for so long around the Mother's Day holiday, I really wanted to change that. And that is the mission behind the Others Day Brunch. That is why I do it the Saturday before Mother's Day. And if you are somebody who doesn't have a mother anymore living on this earth, or maybe you just don't have a solid relationship with a mom or a mother figure in your life, the Others Day Brunch is for you as well. So tickets are available at lanamanikowski.com. And the brunch is going on May 11th here in Chicago with one of the most glorious views of downtown Chicago that you could ever imagine. So let me know if you have any questions. But this week, I really want to talk about happiness. There's this concept that I think I sort of fell into this too. And, I've been going through my advanced certification in grief and post-traumatic grief so that I can more genuinely support those of us that are feeling grief through our journeys and the realization that we aren't going to become moms. And there's this, I think, belief that a lot of people carry around that they need to be happy all the time. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Maybe you find yourself looking at the people around you and then kind of looking at yourself and being like, everyone seems happy except for me. And what does happiness mean? What is realistic about being happy? Because I think that there's definitely, I wouldn't say a fine line, I'd say a pretty thick line between genuine happiness and then this like concept of toxic positivity. And a lot of people who walk around acting like life is happy and perfect all the time, I think either have put a lot of pressure on themselves or they don't know that it is okay to have bad days. So let's dig into this a little bit more. The first thing I was thinking about when I was preparing for this podcast episode is the fact that happiness isn't a destination. There isn't like these things that you can do that will just continue to stack up. And then all of a sudden you're going to get to this destination of happiness and life is going to be great forever. And there's, I think, a lot of pressure that people put on themselves that they haven't found happiness yet. And what if there isn't a yet in it? What if there's micro doses or micro experiences that are happening in your life right now that bring happiness in? Maybe if it's for 2 minutes, maybe it's just 30 minutes where something happens, or you have this experience or this moment of love that you feel in your heart, and then it starts to fade away. That is happiness. There's no reason that people and you need to walk around thinking that you've got to get to this destination of happiness and stay there all the time. What I'm learning in my grief certification is that when we do that, we are constantly, and you might like see yourself doing this too, where you compare yourselves maybe to somebody around you who has kids and their life seems like so wonderful and all these things, and you are believing that you'll never have that happiness because you don't have those same experiences as that person. And I would love to challenge that. I would love it if you would consider deciding that you want to lean into the moments that bring happiness to you and create this journey with happiness instead of this destination. Because what happens is when you don't feel happy and you look at yourself in the mirror, or you're thinking about your day, or maybe you're doing your paper thinking in your journal, and everything that is coming out doesn't seem like it fits into the category of happiness, you become very judgmental of yourself. And maybe you put these guardrails up that tell you that because your story is the way that it is, that happiness just isn't available for women like you. For women that have been on this journey that you have been on, there will never be happiness like you once knew or like you once dreamed of. And I just want to say that to me, that is so restrictive. Like, how much pressure do you feel by thinking that what you've been through and what you're trying to process through, you should already be happy all the time? Like, I think it's impossible to be happy all the time without some sort of medical or medicinal intervention, or by just walking around and putting this false front on who you are so that other people, or how you feel, so that other people can look at you and feel better in your brain. Like, this is what your brain's probably telling you. If you walk around or you run into somebody and they ask how you're doing and you're like, oh my God, I am so great. Like, everything's awesome. Like, yeah, this, and this. Like, you think that you will look better to other people, so that way you don't have to worry about judgment from others. But what you're doing is creating a lot of this pressure for yourself, because you know that it's BS. You know that you don't have great days. You know that there's many moments in the day where you're feeling maybe challenged or feeling confused or feeling like you just don't know what's next for you. And that's not happy. So can you lean into the moments, the slight moments in the day that bring you joy, and be like, okay, I know what happiness is. I know that there's those moments available to me, but I am not going to judge myself for not being happy 24/7. Because the expectation that you should be happy 24/7 is just creating more anxiety for you. It's creating more of a disconnection with yourself, maybe even a huge like place of judgment that you're creating for yourself, because you think you should be doing it differently. You think you should be further along. You think that like you just don't ever have the secret sauce that's going to create this life of happiness. So that is just some of the most eye-opening work that I've really been able to do. And I'm learning how to support the students that I've been coaching. If you are somebody who has volunteered to help me with my coaching for my grief certification, thank you. I know you're probably listening in because you heard me talk about it on a podcast episode before. And if you're wanting to explore this more and learn how feeling grief and feeling happiness, moments of happiness, can coexist, and you're looking for some free coaching, I would be so happy to hop on a 30-minute call with you, if you would be okay with me recording the session so that I can submit it to my instructor so that I could work towards my certification in post-traumatic grief. So just a little plug in, if you want some free coaching and want to know what coaching is like for free, I would love for you to help me, and I will help you hopefully through my coaching. But know that happiness is not the destination. And I know that society tells us that, and we have all this false, I don't even know the right word. Like, we have this false expectation that society puts on us that if you're happy, you're a normal part of society, that you are somebody who's, in air quotes, normal, somebody who has it all together. But that is not what happiness has to be. Happiness can start with just noticing the few moments that you gather with maybe a friend, or you go on a walk with your dog, or if you're like me, you have a dog with an extraordinary personality, and when she does stuff, it just like cracks me up because I know that she's trying to like be mischievous and entertaining and all these things. And there's just like so many moments of happiness that I get out of just communicating with Coco. And whatever it is that's the moments of happiness, believe that there's more available to you, but understand that it does not have to be the whole 24/7 of your life to be happy. And when you're not happy, like, listen to yourself and ask yourself, like, imagine that you are a friend. You feel unhappy, something happens, someone says something to you, and it really like shuts you down. Ask yourself, like, what's going on? What am I feeling right now? What am I thinking about myself because of that comment that was made? Or can I allow myself to listen to what's going on with me before I judge myself that I'm not happy about what happened or what I've been through? So I hope that helps you realize how normal you are, because in my opinion, the people who are constantly seeking happiness are missing out a lot on what is really going on in their lives and how they can tap into the true, genuine happiness that comes in and out of our lives on a daily basis. So I hope you have a beautiful week. I love you. And remember that it's never too late to discover your meaning. And I'll talk to you next week.